welcome to Cuyahoga County's Community Development Committee meeting.
Your microphone, Madam Chair.
It's on.
Ooh, I can barely hear you.
Good morning and welcome to Cuyahoga County's Community Development Committee meeting. It's Monday, July 10th at approximately 10:02 a.m. Cuyahoga County Community Development Committee needs to be called to order. Madam Clerk.
Good morning, everyone. As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Mr. Jones. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Kelly.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
No public comment has been received.
Thank you. We have minutes from the June 26th meeting. Have my colleagues had a chance to look at those minutes? Is there anyone who'd like to move approval? Approval is moved. Is there a second? Second, thank you. Any comments from anyone? Hearing no comments, all in favor of approval of these minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, we move on to matters referred to this committee.
Resolution 2023-0188, awarding a total sum not to exceed $10,000 to Enlightened Solutions for Project Noir from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
And who represents them this morning? If you would approach the podium, identify yourself by stating your name, your role and organization, and then you can begin your presentation.
Hello, my name is Bethany Studenik. I am the co-founder and managing director of Enlightened Solutions.
Good morning, Chichi and Kemra, and I'm the co-founder and director of strategy for Enlightened Solutions.
So thank you so much for having us today. We do have a couple slides to share with you to talk about this project. So just to introduce ourselves, co-founders of Enlightened Solutions, we're a 501c3 nonprofit advocacy organization. Our backgrounds are in law, social work, and education. Our focus areas for our organization focuses on three areas: individuals, organizations, and research.
Today, we're going to specifically highlight our research arm. That's the point that we are attempting to make today. Cleveland in 2020 was ranked the worst city in America for Black women. And as you know, Cleveland is one of the poorest big cities in America.
When we heard that information, we wanted to understand a little bit more about why Cleveland is at the bottom of these rankings. And so we launched a project called Project Noir, where we sat and talked with and surveyed over 450 Black women from our region. And we looked for what are the common bottlenecks, pain points, and stories that we're hearing regarding systems. And we published research called Project Noir, really looking into what are the behaviors that are leading to systemic oppression and exclusion in our region that is so pronounced.
In our findings, and more than that, in the foundational research, they split the analysis into three working arms. The first arm in workplaces, the second in healthcare, and the last in education. So we aligned our research to that as well. Our findings literally illustrated that no matter the system that Black women are working through, bias will adapt. In workplaces, we found that 77% of our participants were subjected to inappropriate comments about their hair, their facial features, the way that they move their faces. We noted in 65% of our participants have been excluded from crucial and critical meetings in the workplace as well.
For healthcare and education, we found that 41% have been told that their health issues are made up. So going into a doctor and talking about your symptoms and being told, "I don't believe you," is a very common experience for women across this region. 77% or 71% of respondents were told to lose weight or change their diet whenever that wasn't necessarily the complaint they came in to talk about. In education, 56% were steered into lower paying professions, and 48% were discouraged from even taking classes in STEM-based classes, so science, technology, engineering, and math. What some of our participants say about our work is that this is the first time that someone asked them about their experiences in a way that they felt that they could answer.
So another woman detailed that because of our foundational research, they were able to hold their employer liable and accountable with the help of an attorney. This is actually transformative work that has a tangible effect to the lived experiences of Black women here in Northeast Ohio. Lastly, a woman let us know that our research, Project Noir, helped her understand that the abuse that she was experiencing within her healthcare system was not her fault. She was really actually taking on the burden of that experience, and it allowed her to kind of free herself and understand that the abuse that she was experiencing literally was not her fault.
So next steps where we will be investing these dollars is to relaunch and expand Project Noir. We completed Project Noir during the height of COVID, and we're unable to do a lot of the community organizing that we'd like to do as a best practice or that we generally do around our work. We want to relaunch the survey, go more in depth with our questions, have greater resolution on the data that we're putting out to the community. And we also want to expand our wraparound services. So that's legal referrals, mental health referrals, healing spaces where we talk about systemic oppression and trauma. This is something the community's really been asking for. And now that we are able to have more conversations in the community, we're starting to get this off the ground.
For the economic case, the future is exceptionally diverse. Out of Generation Z, that is 27 years and younger, they identify as racially diverse. So that is about 48% of them are already racially or ethnically diverse. A third of that generation are already members of the LGBTQ community. And by 2025, that's in 2 years, 75% of the global workforce will be our age, millennials. That's 42 through 27. Lastly, 44% of the millennials that are existing here today belong to minority groups. There is an economic case to actually invest in the diversity and the multiplicity of our region, but we need to start somewhere first, and we need to center the lived experiences of Black women here in Northeast Ohio to actually solve for race and gender within our region.
Any questions?
I have a couple of questions. Which data sources did you use for the phrases the poorest and the worst for Black women?
We're going to say the same thing. This was foundational research coming out of the University of Pittsburgh and was published by CityLab Bloomberg in a study. We can definitely forward you the both accompanying studies.
Could you send that to our clerk for
Absolutely.
us, please?
And the poorest city in America has been researched by Community Solutions, a ton of open source data that has been researched and published in the last couple of years.
I wanted to have it for our files now.
Absolutely.
Because we've heard that before. You just don't have the data source every time.
Understandable.
We'll send it over.
How many people do you see or talk with in an average year outside of the survey process?
That's a great question. Well, we're still working to get the services off the ground. And again, we're just now post-COVID able to do that. So I'd say we see between 50 and 75 folks. Talk through and vet their issues, refer them out to attorneys, refer them out for mental health services, and we're hoping to expand that with the investment here in the region.
And how many full-time staff do you have?
We have 2 full-time staff. We have 2 part-time consultants and 2 research associate interns.
Who else do you partner with as far as your financing?
With regards to financing?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. Our biggest funders right now are the Fowler Family Foundation. They've been incredibly supportive partners since our inception. We also have some funding through the Cleveland Foundation Black Futures Fund. We have funding through the Nord Family Foundation. And then we also invest our own earned income. So we consult with systems for DEI work to apply what we're learning in the community. And we've invested quite a bit of our own dollars in this research.
Any of my colleagues have comments or questions?
Well, you were very thorough in asking the questions that I also had. When do you begin the work?
When would we start this research project?
Yes.
We're currently fundraising. We're kind of starting some of the preliminary work already. We're holding some of the healing spaces. We're doing the referrals. So a lot of it's already happening, but we're hoping to really scale it up in the back half of this year and early next year.
Okay. And once you have completed the research, give me a sense or vision of how it will be used? Or
Absolutely. Do you want to go? Oh, sorry. We're going to step over each other's side.
We always say the same thing anyway. The research is one that individuals can be able to take to their employers. Again, we saw a lot of this work happening during COVID. A lot of workers here in Northeast Ohio were going to their employers and speaking about DEI efforts based on our research in workplaces. We've also seen a ton of application in the healthcare space. Dr. Erica Steed has mentioned our research multiple times in her interviews and in her public speaking events as well. So healthcare practitioners, medical professionals have highlighted it. We've been highlighted in the Village of Healing Clinic has our statistics on their wall. Birthing Beautiful Communities has worked and gained funding due to our research. So there is a ton of application in the community. But what we really want to do is center, again, that lived experience of Black women and letting Black women know that they're not alone and that their experiences are valid. And more than that, that folks in Northeast Ohio, people in positions of power, are interested in their experiences and actually want to turn the tide here.
Thank you.
Just to add a little bit to that as well, our participants really rely on this data. So in our Project Noir research, we found that 95% of our participants, when we asked them, how did you respond to systemic trauma, 95% blame themselves. Right, so they go through these issues and they're being, harassed at work. They're dealing with discrimination, but a lot of times they're feeling like it's my fault. I caused this. I'm not a good employee. I'm not taking care of my body. When the reality is that it's actually based in discrimination. It's based in your sex and your gender. So for a lot of folks, what we've heard is that this is the first time they've had language around what they're actually experiencing, because there's very little research into the actual tactics and behaviors of systemic oppression. Still a lot of research in, is this happening? Is there a wage gap? The answer to us is yes. There's been decades of research proving that. Now we need to get into the actual behaviors inside of systems that are causing this and hold them accountable for these behaviors.
Thank you.
And reviewing your application right quick, the total estimate, I'm sorry, did I miss a hand? Oh, thank you. If we could turn to Mr. Kelly first, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I can't see you because of the reflection off of all these panels. I'm just looking over this and I see you are going to reach 150 women through this, and you anticipate identifying a minimum of 25 women who will benefit from this research, or I'm confused by this part.
Sure. The 150 is participating in healing spaces, so just coming through our doors and having a conversation with us. The 25 is making actual referrals, so looking at their cases and seeing if they need safety plans, if they need particular planning for how do you navigate this particular issue, or if it's litigatable, referring them out to an attorney to support them, or mental health support as well.
So with this additional money, then you'd be able to expand it to reach out to 450 women?
450 women is the number that took our survey, and we want to relaunch that survey and have 450 plus. We're expecting that there will be even more this time.
Got it. I also am told by my doctor to lose weight, change my diet, and exercise. So, yeah, thanks.
There's definitely intersectionality. Yes, yes, there is.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So the goal is to raise $235,000 to do this survey, and you're about halfway through?
Yes, yeah.
How did you raise it before?
We raised it through grants and earned income, like I mentioned before. So some of those core partners, as well as the dollars we earn working with systems.
Are there core partners that are not on this list?
There's so many partners.
Or you did it $10,000, $15,000 at a time?
Really, 1 mile at a time, honestly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We wish you continued success. If there are no further questions or comments, do I hear a vote?
I'll make a motion to move this to the full council.
Is there there's a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
With no opposition? Madam Clerk, this moves on to 3 readings of the council. So you can watch the other meetings virtually.
Appreciate it.
Thank you kindly.
Congratulations. Thank you,
Madam
ladies.
Chair, I'd like to add my name to this item.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, did you hear the Council President?
Yes, duly noted.
Thank you.
Resolution 2023-0191, a resolution awarding a total sum not to exceed $100,000 to the McGregor Foundation for the McGregor Independent Living Project from the District 10 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good morning.
Good morning. So my name is Ann Kahn. I'm the president and CEO of the McGregor Foundation, and thank you for your time this morning and hearing about the request for our affordable living project on our McGregor campus. So this project includes development of 80 new affordable apartments, one-bedroom apartments on our East Cleveland Senior Campus in 2 different sites. The first is a construction of a new 51,000 square foot building in support of 54 affordable one-bedroom apartments. The second part of the project includes a renovation of 26 apartments in an existing building located on the same campus. In addition, the renovation includes upgrades to the mechanical and electrical systems in the current building to help reduce the carbon footprint of the living options and reduce overall operating costs. Lastly, the project includes minor updating to the additional 26 affordable units that were placed in service in 2006 to include HVAC replacement, painting, flooring, and LED lighting updates. This project will also include landscaping, walking paths, and eco-friendly parking lots, which are funded through a grant from the Northeast Ohio Sewer District. The project overall investment in the city of East Cleveland is $34 million. McGregor is committing $7.5 million in a sponsor loan, along with $15 million of tax credit equity, $3 million in HUD capital advance, and a $5.9 million seller note for the renovated building purchase. In addition, the Cuyahoga County has committed $450,000 in home funds, and there was an original commitment from the city of East Cleveland for $100,000 in home funds. This particular project, all units will support households with individuals who are age 62 or older and are at or below the 60% of the area median income, or $35,800. We are actually pretty far along with this development. We're hopeful to complete and receive our occupancy permit at the end of July, so we'll be leasing in the month of August, and actually have a full list of individuals who are scheduled to move in as of August 1st. So at the time when we actually open, we will be able to fully lease these units. So I know I sent over on Friday just a summary PowerPoint with some pictures, so I don't need to share it now, but if you're interested in looking at that at a later date.
It is in front of each of us, so as you were talking, I flipped through it. So.
Okay.
Questions from my colleagues? Madam Clerk, if you would let the record show that Councilwoman Sunny Simon has joined us.
Duly noted, Ms. Simon.
Okay. You need this funding from us because the city of East Cleveland could not provide it to you?
Correct.
Did they run out? They had both ARPA and home funds?
They did have both funds. Unfortunately, the home dollars were unable to be allocated to this particular project because of a technicality that was some of the paperwork that wasn't completed by the city in advance of the project, and so they had to withdraw their grant.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So just to be clear, I'm sorry, I just walked in from it. You're going to be developing senior housing in East Cleveland neighborhood?
On our campus.
Great. And so I didn't hear, are people ready to sign up for this already?
Yes, so this total project is 80 affordable apartments.
Okay.
26 of them were finished. The renovation was actually finished in December, and those are fully leased. The 54 apartments, we're hopeful to have occupancy by the end of July, and those right now are fully leased as well. So we have a list that we've been working through over the last couple of months.
Have you been involved, sorry, Madam Chair, in assisting with the fire at Terrace in East Cleveland? at all? There's
we
no,
have.
okay, that's a separate support network for
Yeah,
them.
I do apologize, but
No, you don't need to apologize.
no, that's
I know, I think the Red Cross is in there, but do you think anybody from there potentially could sign up with this type of housing and move them into these units?
They probably would be eligible as long as they were if they were 62 or older. I think the Terrace building has more than just older adults
That
living
is
there.
correct.
Yep, okay. That would be a good connector because they have nowhere to go. I don't, because the chair knows probably more about that. That's her district, but it was just horrific.
Do you have a waiting list for this project?
We do. So of the 54 apartments that we're leasing now, we have 80 individuals, and we actually have not been actively marketing. It's just been part of the normal word of mouth that happens with our McGregor campus.
And the McGregor campus itself has a separate waiting list.
So this particular project will be the second HUD 202 unit that's on campus, and both of them have a waiting list. So we're filling those 54 apartments from our waiting list.
Okay. Any other questions from my colleagues? All right. I'd like to hear a motion.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Any
very much.
opposed? Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Okay, Madam Clerk. Is there any miscellaneous business to discuss with us this morning?
No miscellaneous business.
Okay, any other comments from my colleagues? Thank you for your attendance so that these projects could move forward. This meeting is adjourned.